Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. So for today's lesson, we're going to be having a look at a IGCSE Economics Paper 1 multiple choice paper from October-November 2023, and this is paper variant 1-2, and I've got the model answers here as well, just so that we have a error correction mechanism. Again, October-November 2023, paper 1-2. Okay. So guys, I think the best way that you can use this video to study is I've put the link to the paper in the description. So go and click on the link so that you've got the paper, and then my advice is you work through it yourself. And then I've put the timestamps of each question from this paper, question 1 through to 30, in the description as well. And then when you get to a question that you're unsure of or that you got wrong, then you can skip along to that question. And then I think that's the most efficient way that you can use this video to study for your paper. And then let's see if we can get that good score. Alright guys, so I'm going to go through it as quick as I can. I won't be able to explain everything in as much detail as I want, whilst then the video is going to become like a 1-hour lecture. So let's get through it as best we can. Alrighty, let's go. Okay, question 1, which statement is correct? Economic goods are not scarce. Nope, economic goods are scarce. Economic goods have no opportunity cost. Nope, economic goods are made using limited resources, so we have to choose how to use those resources, so they have opportunity cost. That's what makes an economic good an economic good. Free goods are scarce. Nope, scarce means limited. Free goods are unlimited. Free goods have no opportunity cost. Correct. Okay. So free goods are unlimited, so therefore you don't have to choose how to use them to produce any economic goods. So they are unlimited. There's no opportunity cost. Okay. Question 2. Let's double check to be sure. It's always good. Okay. Question 1. D. We're on the money. Question 2. The economy of country X is always on its production possibility curve. When will the goods and services produced by a country X become more scarce? Okay, so A, the PPC shifts left and the population increases. Yeah, I can already see that that is likely the answer, because let's have a look. So if we imagine that this is our PPC, so we're on the PPC, and then let's say that this line is the size of our population. So the question is saying, if the PPC shifts left, right, and our population increases, so shifts right, can you see there's going to be now like a big gap between the PPC and the population size? So then our resources have become more scarce now. So now we have to choose even more carefully how we use them. Okay, so I hope that helps. Let's just double check. B, PPC shifts to the right. No, then resources will be less scarce. We got more resources. C, PPC doesn't change, but the population decreases. Our resources are not going to be more scarce or more limited then. D, PPC is unchanged, population size is unchanged. Then we'll just be efficient. There will be no more, there won't be any increase in scarcity. Okay, so 2A, we are on the money. Okay, question 3. What is capital? We know that capital is a man-made factor of production. So we're looking for a man-made factor of production. Okay, so it's a man-made resource used in production. A, the ability to organize factors of production. Nope, that's enterprise or entrepreneurship. B, the energy used in production. No, energy is a natural resource. C, so land, the factory used in production. The factory used in production, a man-made resource used in production. Okay. D, the money invested in a firm. In economics, money is not referred to as capital. In business studies, it might be referred to as working capital, but not capital as such. Okay, so 3C, we're on the money. Okay, 4. What are features of a market economy? So a free market economy means we've got an economy with only private firms and individuals, and individuals own those private firms, and those firms decide how to use resources or factors of production to produce goods that individuals want. And that's why we always have equilibrium in a market economy, because there's no government intervention. Private ownership of factors of production, yes, that is basically the definition of a market economy. So the answer can only be C or D. Public ownership of factors of production, no. In a pure market economy, the public means government. There is no government ownership, so then we should be on C. Government allocation of production, so governments have some effect in how we use resources to produce what goods, something like public goods or merit goods. No, it's a free market economy, so there's no government intervention. So our answer should be C. Let's go have a look. For C, we're on the money. Let's go, guys. Okay, 5. Public transport and cars are substitute goods. Okay, the price of public transport rises. So we've got cars, right, and we've got public transport. If public transport becomes more expensive, then we're most likely going to want to drive cars, right? So the demand for cars is going to increase. Okay, so an increase in demand should be D. All right, I'll draw that for you guys. So this is a pretty common question, so it's a good one to know. So basically how this works is we've got I'm going to call this the cars market for cars, and this is the market for, I'm going to call it public transport, PT. Okay, please excuse my graphs, they're not as neat as I would like them to be, but it's a little difficult drawing with the mouse, no? Okay, so what happens in here, this story, we've got two goods which are substitute, cars and public transport. The price of public transport increases, right? So here's the equilibrium price, and now the price increases for whatever reason. So then you can see we're going to have a contraction in quantity demanded. People are going to now only demand this much quantity at the after the price increases. So we're going to have a reduction here, and then what happens, we will have an increase in the demand for cars. Okay, so that is an increase. So a movement along the curve, like for public transport, that it would be a contraction in demand, and then an increase in demand is the whole demand curve shifting to the right. Okay, so 5D, we're on the money. Let's go. 6. The markets for 4 products are all in equilibrium, so supply equals demand, no shortage, no surplus. The table gives the value of price elasticity of supply for each product. The demand for each product shifts to the right by 5,000 units at all prices. Which product will have the largest price increase? Okay, so we've got 4 markets here. I'm going to just quickly draw them for you. I'm going to call this one, this is A. So we're talking about price elasticity of supply. So that means when the price changes, how much can the quantity supplied change? Okay, so we got A, we got B, we got C, and we got D. So remember, if an elasticity, the price elasticity number is bigger than 1, then it is elastic. So D will be, I'm going to draw all just standard demand curves, 45 degrees. Okay, more or less 45 degrees. Then for, let me start at the top. For A, we've got 0 degrees, so perfectly inelastic supply. Then we've got B, 0.6, so that'll be quite inelastic. Okay. Then we've got C, which is unitary elasticity, so that's 45 degrees. And then we've got D, which is 2.5, which is pretty elastic supply. Okay, so now which one is going to have the greatest increase in price? Well, you can see it's most likely going to be A, right? Okay, so here a small increase in the quantity supplied is going to be a massive increase in the price, right? Okay. For this one, if we look at the same sort of sized change in price, the size is a little smaller, right? And let's look at this one for more or less the same sort of change in price. Change in quantity supplied. There you go, even smaller. And for this one, okay, I know this is not perfectly drawn, but you can see, you get the general feel for the size of the price change, right? So then our answer must be A. Okay, that's going to have the largest price increase. Okay, there you go. And that kind of makes sense, because when something is price inelastic, it means it's either very expensive to build it, or expensive to store it, or it takes a long time to build, or you need really expensive skilled labor. So then that's going to come with a large price tag. So if we do need to change that quantity, it's going to cost really, there's going to be a big cost incurred, so that will transmit into being a high price. Okay, let's go have a look. 6A, boom, we're on the money. Okay, 7, what is the value of price elasticity of demand? Okay, so now we're talking about price elasticity of demand. So that is when the price changes, sort of how much can the quantity supplied change for a product if its total revenue remains the same when the price is reduced. Okay, so this is another classic one. This is a characteristic of unitary price elasticity. Okay, so when the price is, this question is basically saying the total revenue is not going to change, right, when the price is reduced, because what that means is when the price changes, the price reduces by, let's say, this much, then because it's a 45-degree line, then it's going to be the exact same price change, exact same change in the quantity demanded. So if there's a 1% decrease in price, then there's going to be a 1% increase in demand. So then we know revenue is price times quantity. If they both change, price and quantity change by the same percent, then the total revenue is just going to be the same. So this is a characteristic of unitary elasticity. So the answer must be 1. Okay, 1. Let's go have a look. 7D, and we're on the money. Okay, let's go. Question 8. The owner of a hotel in Malaysia finds that, a lot of price elasticity here, guys. The owner of a hotel in Malaysia finds that the price elasticity of demand for accommodation in the area is negative 1.7. So this is a value that is, in absolute values, greater than 1. So we know that the price elasticity of demand is elastic. Okay, so there's elastic price elasticity of demand, or the demand is price elastic. So that means that the quantity demanded is going to change by more than the change in the price. Okay, so if the hotel owner decreases the price by 5%, how would the demand for the room change? Okay, so we know that the demand should change by more than 5%. Okay, and if the price, so the price decreased here. So if the price goes down, right, then the quantity demanded should increase. So the price went down by 5%, so the quantity demanded should increase by more than 5%, which is D. It would increase by 8.5%. And I'm going to quickly draw that for you guys, because I think this is a good opportunity to zoom in on and focus in on elasticities. So price elasticity of demand is percentage change in quantity demanded over percentage change in price. And we know that demand is downward sloping, so a negative relationship between price and quantity. That means when price goes down, right, price goes down, then quantity demanded is going to increase. And we know that here we've got an elastic curve, right? So that means when price changes, when the price changes, then the quantity demanded is going to change by even more than what the price changed. So the quantity demanded decreased by 5%, and so because it's elastic, right, absolute value greater than 1, then the quantity demanded is going to change by even more than 5%, increase by more than 5%, and the option we have is 8%. Okay. 9. Good weather results in an increase in the demand for tomatoes. It also increases the supply of tomatoes. What must be a result of this? Okay, so what happens here? Let's have a quick look at the story. Good weather results. Let's have our equilibrium supply and demand. All right. So we've got an equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity. Let's call that P1 and Q1. So we know there's an increase in demand, so demand increased, and then there was an increase in supply, so supply also increased. Okay, so let's note that we're not really sure what happened to the price. I've just randomly drawn this. The price could have increased or decreased depending on if demand increased more than supply, then price would increase. If supply had increased more than demand, then price would have decreased, but we don't know we don't have enough information on that. But what we do know is that the quantity of tomatoes traded did increase. So the price of tomatoes will fall. We don't know fully. We don't have enough information. B, the price of tomatoes will rise. Again, we don't have enough information. C, the quantity of tomatoes traded will fall. No, because we know demand and supply increase. D, the quantity of tomatoes traded will rise. Yes. Okay, that must be true. 9D. Oh, let's go check 8D. Were we correct? Ding, ding, ding. We were. Okay. All right, guys. Nearly a third of the way through. Well done. Let's keep pushing. 10. What causes a change in the price of a product in a free market economy? So in a free market economy, price is if supply or demand increases, right, or decreases, then that's going to affect the price. Okay, so for example, here we go. We know that in a market economy, firms will produce as many goods as are demanded. So for example, if demand increases, right, then we're going to see an increase in price. And similarly, if supply had decreased, we would have also seen an increase in price. It's because in a market economy, changes in supply and demand conditions are what change the prices. Okay, if we look at B, changes in external costs and external benefits. Not necessarily in a free market economy, we're not always worried about the external costs and benefits. C, changes in government decision. No, bit of a trick option there. There is no governments in a purely free market economy. Changes in the quantity of public goods. Again, there are no public goods in a free market economy because public goods are non-rival and non-excludable. So privately owned firms don't provide public goods because you cannot make a profit for them. Because if one person buys it, then everyone else can use it. So then there's no need for anyone to buy it. So 10A. Ding, ding, ding. Well done, guys. 1/3 of the way through. Let's keep going. 11. The ways of making and receiving payments continue to develop. Payments can now be made using smartphones as well as cash, debit cards, and credit cards. Which method of paying for products provides no information to sellers about their customers? Okay, A, cash. When you pay with cash, I'm just giving you money. You don't ask for my ID. You don't ask for my address. You don't ask for my passport number, right? You got no information on me when I pay in cash. If they're paying on a credit card, you can look that up. You can look up my information at the bank. I mean a debit card. If I pay with a credit card, you get all my information on there. In a smartphone also, you will have my bank account sort of name of my account holder and all that. So you're able to track down information with debit cards, credit cards, and smartphones because you're basically using an app here which has your information logged in for credibility and accountability. But when you pay with cash, you're not given any information. So 11A. Okay, 12. In most countries, which organization controls the banking system? Okay, we know it's the big boy of the banks. It's the central bank, right? A. B. Commercial banks. No, commercial banks don't control the banking system. They don't make the regulations. They don't control the money supply. They don't issue the coins and notes. They don't manage the monetary policy. Commercial banks are just for me and you and businesses who want to get loans, make deposits, or have someone manage their investments for them. An investment bank, no, they manage your investments. World Bank, no, the World Bank is sort of the lender of last resort for central banks, really. And also they sort of help set good policies and procedures that central banks should follow so that they have stable and secure banking systems so that we don't have any recessions which lead into depressions like we've seen in the past. So 12A. Okay. 13. What is not a reason for differences in earnings of airline pilots in a particular country? So in a particular country, pilots receive different amounts of earnings for whatever reason. Bargaining power of employees, yep. So maybe some of these pilots are in a trade union, so they get their trade union bargains for higher wages for them. So that could be true. B, discrimination, yeah. For some reason, maybe we've sort of seen in the past that in some situations women get paid lower salaries than men, so that is a difference in earnings, and that's a discriminatory wage policy, okay, for whatever reason. C, government policies, yeah, could be, right? If you have higher education or if you have a certain amount of experience, then maybe the government mandates that you should be getting paid a higher wage. D, inflation. Okay, no, inflation should be consistent across the whole country, so that's not going to affect your earnings. Yeah, so inflation is the answer there. That's not going to be the reason for different earnings. D. Okay. 14. An airline takes over an online clothing company. So a takeover here, I've seen this also quite a bit in business studies in recent papers. Takeover means we buy another company, right? So we're a big company, we'll buy another one, and for whatever reason, maybe we want more market share, or we want to lower our average cost, gain economies of scale, or we want to maybe branch into a different market to diversify our product portfolio, or we want to lower our average costs. Okay, so what is an advantage of such a move by an airline? So an airline buying a clothing company, you might think it's quite strange. There you go. They want to diversify their operations. Okay, so the more different types of markets that we're in, then the less we are exposed to risk, right? So like COVID-19, airlines couldn't operate for how many months, right? But people could probably still buy clothes online, so they could still generate some profit during that time, by way of example. Okay, so that is diversification, means you have different types of products, or you're in completely different markets, right? And it's so that you can reduce your risk. To generate economies of scale, these two businesses are really too different for there to be any reduction in cost. C, to improve lines of communication, again, they're really too different. They're not really even aligned via the different sectors, right? Maybe if an airline had bought an aluminium producing factory or an oil factory, right, then that would have been one way to generate economies of scale, but it's not going to generate economies of scale or improve lines of communication. Increase market share, no, because it's a completely different market, so they're not really increasing their market share for customers, airline customers, right? So it's to diversify their operations. 14A, we're on the money. Ooh, nearly halfway, guys. Good stuff. Well done. If you need to take a break, pause, go take a break, refresh, come back, and let's smash the second half. All right. So 15. In which type of industry is a firm most likely to make a large profit in the short run and in the long run? Okay, so number of firms in the industry. Right. If there's just one firm, then we're likely to be a price maker, So we're going to reap the benefits of selling that product in that market, right? So the answer can only be C or D. Barriers to entry must be high. Okay. Sometimes it just goes blue like this. I don't know why. You're just going to have to bear with me, and we're going to have to push through on the blue screen. Okay. This happened to me before, and I didn't know how to make it come back from being blue. So blue it is. Hope you don't mind too much. Okay. C. So if there's just one firm in the industry and barriers to entry are high, meaning maybe another firm has to buy, it's really capital intensive, so they have to buy a lot of capital. It's really expensive to start providing this product or producing this product. Or maybe we're just such a big company that when a new company tries to enter the market, we drop our prices right down, and they just cannot make a profit at those low prices, so they can't survive and they shut down. Okay, so if we want to make a large profit in the short and the long run, we should be the only firm, and barriers to entry should be high. Okay, I don't know if I'm going to be able to highlight when it goes blue like this, but the answer is C. Let's go check. C. There we go. Okay, I'm not sure. There we go. We're back. Okay, just by luck of the draw. So 15C. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, I'm not necessarily a bit of a technology wizard. I'm just an economics teacher. Okay, so 16. A firm produces 5 units of output and an average cost of $20 per unit. So we got 5 goods at $20. So that's going to be 5 times 20, $100 for those 5 goods. And then the cost of the 6th unit is $26. So plus 26, it means it costs $126 to make 6 goods. What is the average cost of those 6 units? So when you see average cost of 6 units, it's basically saying what is the average cost of one good. So we know we've got 126 units, and I mean the cost of the cost of 6 goods is $126, right? And now we want to divide that by 6 to get the average cost of 1. So I'm going to quickly whip out the old calculator. 126 divided by 6, $21 per good. So the average cost is $21 per good. So the answer should be D. Okay, the average cost of one good is $26. There we go, 16D. Okay. 17. What is an example of government macroeconomic policy? Increasing the money supply. Yes. So when we issue notes and coins, or we decrease interest rates to increase so that people borrow more and we can inject money into the economy, we are increasing the money supply. And we want to do this this is expansionary monetary policy. We do this so that people can demand more, firms can sell more, and then there can be more production, so GDP is going to go up. We have economic growth. Okay. B, preventing price rises in food industry. Nope. So that's a specific industry. That's only the food market. So that is microeconomics. Removing a monopoly's barriers to entry. So a monopoly is specific as a firm in one specific market. Microeconomics. Setting a maximum price for wheat. Okay, so that's specifically in one market for wheat. So that's a microeconomic policy. So our answer is A, increasing money supply. 17, A. Okay, 18. Why would devaluing the international value of an economy's currency help to reduce unemployment? Okay, so when we devalue our money, it means we make our money cheaper. Okay, so when our money is cheaper, then other countries, then our products are going to become cheaper for them. Okay, so if we devalue our money, it becomes weaker or cheaper. That means the other country's money is stronger. So that means they can buy, for the same amount of money, they can buy more of our products. And that's good for us because then the demand for our products increases. So then our firms can supply more, they can start making a profit, they can use more factors of production, of which is labor, right? So they need more labor, which is going to reduce unemployment. So let's go look at our options. 18A, devaluing the currency would increase the cost of production. No, not necessarily. Our prices haven't changed, we've just devalued it. So there's that effect is on the foreign exchange market for money. So other countries, that affects our value for other countries. They can get more of our money. It doesn't actually affect local prices. B, devalue, at least it doesn't affect them immediately. B, devaluing the currency would increase in confidence for investors. Actually, no. When we devalue our currency, investors thinking, oof, there's a lot of change, there's not much certainty in this economy. Investors don't like unpredictability. So when we devalue our currency, we make a change, which means there's not much stability or predictability. So investors don't really want to invest in your country if you're making too many changes, because changes do not indicate a stable, safe environment. Investors want a stable, safe environment. C, devaluing the currency would increase the foreign demand for domestic products. Yeah, so we devalue our currency, and that means foreign countries, right? All countries are foreign, but they are going to demand our products, so that there's going to be an increase in foreign demand for domestic products, and that is going to reduce unemployment. D, devaluing the currency would increase the demand for imports. No, not true, because we made our currency weaker, so that means imports are more expensive for us. So 18C. Okay, 19. What is likely to happen when the rate of interest increases? So we're going to increase the interest rate. Consumer spending increases. Nope, people are probably not are going to borrow less and save more. Okay, because they get more interest, more return on their savings. B, firms buy fewer machines. Yes. Okay, so when the interest rate is more expensive, then people don't want to borrow, because when the interest rate is higher, it's more expensive for them to make their interest payments, right? The payments that they have to make back to whoever they borrowed money from is more. So then they're definitely going to buy less machines. Normally you take a loan to buy a machine because machines are really expensive. Okay. C, people hold more cash. Nope, people put their money in the bank. D, savers earn lower rewards. Nope, the interest rate is higher, so we're going to earn a higher reward on our saving. So 19B. Ding ding ding. Okay. 20. What is not a supply side measure? Okay. So 20A, control of trade union power. Yep, if we can control the trade union, then we're going to have more control on factors of production, labor, right? So that is actually a supply side measure. We're looking for what is not a supply side measure. Higher indirect tax. In this case, yes. Okay, so this is not a supply side measure. This is actually fiscal policy, because fiscal policy is about setting taxation, right? I'm a little bit in disagreement with this, because indirect taxes, firms have to pay indirect taxes, right? So if you put a high indirect tax, then the firm has less budget to spend on resources to make their products, right? And the products is supply. So if firms have less money because they have to pay some to tax, then they have less money to buy resources. So the number of products that they make is less. So supply is going to decrease. So indirect taxation is in some way a supply side measure, but I think in the scope of the course, because it's taxation falls under fiscal policy. Okay, so privatization, yes, we can let private firms or individuals produce certain products or own certain resources, so that is a supply side measure, because supply side policy is about how we manage our resources or our factors of production. Skills training for workers, yes. Okay, if we can improve the quality of our workers, that is improving the quality of our factors of production or resources. So that's going to increase our PPC or improve our PPC, and we're going to increase our supply. Okay, so it's a supply side measure. So 20 should be B. Yeah. Okay, this is a bit of a, in the future, just note that indirect taxes do have an effect on supply though. Okay. Alright, 21. The table shows the real GDP per head for a country in 2021 and 22. So 2021 was 20,000 per person, the GDP. In 2022, the real GDP was 21,000 per person. Okay, so people have actually gotten richer in terms of the amount of goods they can buy. So what is likely to have changed between 21 and 22? Incomes were distributed more evenly. We don't have enough information about that. Okay, it could be, but I'm not sure we have enough information. B, there was more activity in informal economy. No, because GDP, right, this is a formal recording. C, the living standards of some people improved. I would say the living standards of pretty much all people improved. But again, we don't actually have enough information. D, the rate of inflation increased. No, the rate of inflation must have decreased. So I would say that it's either going to be A or C. Incomes are distributed more evenly. Do we have enough information about that? C, the living standards of some people improved. I would say answer should be C, 21C. Yeah. Okay. That was a tough one where we had two options left. Incomes were distributed more evenly. We don't actually have enough information about any policies there. And we just know that the average income per head has improved. So living standards for at least some people have improved. We don't know if this is because maybe all the rich got richer, or the middle class got richer, or the lower income group, maybe they got richer. So we know for certain that some people's living standards did improve. Okay, that was quite a tricky one. 22. Which change to fiscal policy is most likely to reduce cyclical unemployment in an economy? So cyclical unemployment is when the GDP goes up, unemployment goes down. When the GDP goes down, unemployment goes up. When GDP goes up, unemployment goes down. When the GDP goes down, unemployment goes up. Okay, and so on. So that is cyclical unemployment. Which change to fiscal policy is most likely to reduce cyclical unemployment? If we increase direct taxation, I'm not sure that's going to reduce cyclical unemployment, because when GDP is going down, people are going to pay less tax, the government's going to have less budget. It just means if we increase the tax, people have less money, so then we're most likely going to have GDP going down, which is going to then cause cyclical unemployment. So shouldn't be A. B, increasing the budget deficit. Yes. Okay, so if we increase the budget deficit, it means that we are spending more money, right? So if we have a situation where the GDP starts to go down, we spend more money, then we know there should be enough money available to keep that demand increasing, so it will offset the GDP downswing. Okay. C, if we increase the budget surplus, it means we either spend less or tax more, so then GDP will go down, we'll have unemployment. D, increasing the money supply, well, this is a monetary policy measure, so the answer should be B, 22B. Okay. 23. What must have happened in a country when it experienced an annual rate of inflation of 100%? So prices went up by 100%, the money supply doubled. We don't know that would cause a 100% increase in inflation, because firms may have made profits, so supply could have increased, which brings prices down. Okay, so I'll quickly draw that for you. A, So here, if we increase money supply, right, then demand should increase, but then supply will also increase. So then that increase in supply will offset the increase in price from the increased demand. So then we don't know that inflation would have increased by 100% because of that. The price level halved. Nope, we don't really know that the price level halved. C, the purchasing power of money halved. Yeah, if everything got 100% more expensive, so doubled in price, then the value of our money, that means how many goods we can buy with our money, literally decreased by half. Okay, so D, the real value of money doubled. No, the real value of money didn't double. The real value of money halved. Okay, so I'll quickly show you like this. If, let's say, we've got $1, so $1 could get you, again with my milk cartons, because it's easy to draw, 2 milk cartons. If we know that everything increased by 100%, right, then that means that now $2 buys you those 2 milk cartons, right, because the prices went up by 100%. So before, the price of 1 milk carton was 50 cents, and now the price of 1 milk carton is $1. Okay, so it literally means with your money, you can only buy, with your same amount of money, you can literally buy half the stuff, because now $1 only gets you 1 milk carton. Okay, so if I circle that, before $1 got you 2 cartons of milk, and now $1 only gets you 1 carton of milk. So your purchasing power, the goods you can actually buy with your money, is literally half now. Okay, sorry about the hands there. I got passionate and a bit expressive. Okay, so let's go, guys. 24, we're nearly there. We're pushing hard. The Human Development Index can be used to measure human development in countries. Okay, so it's used to measure living standards or economic development or life quality, right? Quality of life. So which measure would not be part of its calculation? So HDI is, this is how I always think about it. It's health, which is average life expectancy. D for education, which is number of years in schooling. And I for income, which is gross national income per person. Okay, so which is not a part of this? There you go. Inequality of incomes is not a part of that. Okay, so life expectancy we've got in health, gross national income per head, income, years of schooling, education. So which is not in the HDI is inequality of income. Okay, so that was 23. Let's see. Okay, we were correct in 23. 24 should be A, correct. Okay, last few to go, guys. Let's keep pushing. You're doing great. I'm proud of you. Okay, 25. What is the most likely consequence of an aging population for a high income economy? So what is the most likely consequence of an aging population for a high income quality? Okay, so what will happen when we have a population that's getting older in a high income economy? A, there will be a fall in dependency ratio. No, we will have an increase in dependency ratio. If I'll draw for you, if we've got our population pyramid, right? So dependency ratio are the kids plus the pensioners, the people older than 65, divided by those who can work. So if we have an aging population, a population that's getting older, okay, then you can see that dependency ratio, the white zones divided by the black zone, is bigger. Okay, so B, there will be a fall in the level of immigration. We really don't know that. There will probably be an increase in immigration because we need people to work. C, there will be an increase in geographic mobility. Again, people are getting older, so there'll probably be a decrease in geographic mobility. D, there will be an increase in spending on healthcare. Yeah. So if you're already a high income economy, right, you're probably well developed. Now you've got a lot of older people, so you're going to spend more on your healthcare. 25. D. Okay, last few guys. Let's keep pushing. 26. In some developing countries, a large percentage of the population is involved in subsistence farming. So subsistence farming means you grow your produce just to feed yourself and your family. So you subsist means survive on what you farm. So you farm just to make sure you have enough food for you and your family. What can be concluded from this? A, each family will be able to produce enough to live on. Yeah, that's subsistence farming. Okay. B, production is unlikely. Okay, wait. Sorry. What can be concluded from this? Production is unlikely to be capital intensive. Okay, yeah, I would say subsistence farming is quite labor intensive. So in some developing countries, a large percentage of population is involved in subsistence farming. What can be concluded from this? Each family will be able to produce enough to live on. We don't know for certainty that each family can produce enough to live on, actually. Okay. B, the production is unlikely to be capital intensive. Yeah, I would say production is likely to be labor intensive in this country. C, production will be efficient. We don't necessarily know that since we don't really have capital and it's a developing country. Our production, we don't even have enough information, but our production might not be efficient. D, there will be a high level of trade. Since we're developing, we're probably not yet trading internationally. So I would say the answer is probably B, a developing country. Production is unlikely to be capital intensive. It's likely to be labor intensive because labor is probably a bit more unskilled and cheaper in a developing country. Okay, so 26 should be B. There we go. 27. A small country whose only export is oil decides to reduce substantially the rate at which it extracts its limited oil reserve. So that means that we've got a country here who produces oil. Okay, they extract oil from the earth, and what they want to do is they are going to decrease the amount of oil that they extract, right? So why are they doing that is the question. A, to improve the balance of payments the following year. Well, we know that we export them. If we have less to export, then we're going to have less money coming in. So our balance of payments is actually not going to improve. It's going to decrease. So not A. B, to increase current government income. Well, if we have less oil, that means there's less products to tax, so there will be less government income. C, to maintain future living standards. Yes. So we know that this oil is a limited resource, right? We don't want to extract all of it now and have none in the future, and then we're going to have some problems with national income in the future and unemployment in the future, right? So then our living standards are going to change in the future. But if we decrease the amount of oil we extract now so that we have more oil to extract in the future, then we know we can possibly maintain our future living standards. Okay. D, to raise the level of employment in the oil industry. Well, no, if we extracting less oil, then it's not really going to increase the level of employment, because actually we might need less workers, right? Okay, so 27C. All right, guys, last 3 questions. Let's keep going. Let's get after it. 28. Country X believes that country Y is selling steel at prices below the average cost of production. So country X imposes a higher tax on steel imports from country Y. Okay. So country X is buying steel from country Y. Okay. So what does country X hope to achieve by imposing this tariff? Right. So we're country X, right? And we buy steel from country Y. And we notice that these guys are selling us their steel way below the average cost of producing the steel. So that's a little sus, wouldn't you say? That's a bit suspicious. So why are they doing that? So we're like, no. This seems a little suspicious. I don't want you just sending all your... I know what you've done. You've got a surplus of steel here. You've made way too much steel. No one in your country wants it. No one can sell it. So you're just dumping it into my country. And then you're going to make all my companies buy it. And then no one's going to buy steel from my steel making firms. And then my firms are going to lose profit and maybe going to have to fire some workers. See what you're doing? You're just dumping steel into our country. Okay, so that's what's happening. Country X, avoid country X dumping steel into country Y. No, avoid country Y dumping steel into country X. Okay, so we're country X. We put a tax on them because we don't want them just dumping their steel into our country and messing up the demand for our steel producing firms. Okay, so 28B, this is the anti-dumping argument for trade restrictions. Okay, 28B. Basically what we want to do is we want to protect the demand for our firms, so we put a tax on countries who we believe have got a surplus of a good and they're just dumping it into our country to get rid of it, and we don't want that happening because that's going to decrease the demand for our firms, our domestic production, and so that is what we call dumping, and we don't want that. Okay, 29. Which factor would cause a country's exchange rate to fall? Demand for imports increases. So if we want to buy products from other countries, so then we need to use our money to buy more of their currency, right? So then there's going to be more of our currency in the foreign exchange market. Okay, so then our exchange rate should fall. Okay, domestic interest rate rises. No, there would be less supply, so our money would actually get stronger. C, domestic savings increase. No, then there would be less supply of our money, so then our money would get stronger, the exchange rate would rise. More tourists visit our country. No, then there's more demand for our product, our money, so then the value increases, the exchange rate increases. So when you see exchange rate fall, it means our money gets weaker. So if we demand more imports, right, then we're going to increase the supply of our money because we use it to exchange for the currency that we need to buy the imports. So if there's more of our money floating around in the market, right, then the value is going to decrease. The exchange rate is going to fall. So 29A. Okay, and the last question. Many European firms employ workers from the Philippines. These workers send part of their income to relatives in the Philippines. So Filipinos are working in Europe and they get their money and they send some of that money home. Which part of the balance of payments of the current accounts for the Philippines would these transactions be recorded? This is secondary income. Okay, so trade in goods is obviously exports and imports of physical goods. Trade in services is exports and imports of just like services provided. So we call that the invisible part of the current balance of payments. We call the trade of goods the visible part because you can actually see the goods. Primary income is that money is paid directly into the country, right? Secondary income is you pay me in this country and then I send the money home. Okay, so 30 is B, secondary income. Alrighty guys, well done. It's been a knowledge intensive video. You've done really well. Good luck for your IGCSE exam coming up soon, I think. So if you need me to do any, or if you'd like to see anything more specific in these videos or more explanations or even less detail, let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys again in the future. Thank you. See you guys again soon.